Well, here's what's to come. The women's singles in the first of the semi-finals. Sun Sha, the world #1, warming up alongside Cheng, the one who will be her opponent. So at the minute, they're friends, they're practice partners, but once they face each other across the table, there will only be one winner. Will it be?
From China, Cheng! From China, soon, Ying!
Well, this is a player who gets a big reception no matter where in the world she is playing. Long-time world #1 Sun Sha, utterly imperious at the top of the standings, but she's taking on a player who has beaten her in recent history. Cheng, the rising star for Team China, currently ranked world #10, and is certainly making waves in the world standings. Well, this is a best of 7 now, and this for a place in tomorrow's final. Just last month, the younger player pulled off a real upset, big win over Sun Sha in the round of 16 at the US Smash in Las Vegas. She currently leads their head-to-head, and this is the second WTT meeting between them. Well, Sun Sha, you see there, the world #1. She's been world #1 for over 3 years now. She's been untouchable at the top. But Cheng, Adam Bobrow, is a very exciting young prospect.
Indeed she is. I've been watching for quite some time, and many have told me, look out for this one. She's adaptable, she's fast, she's focused, she's gone through a lot of very tricky challenges and overcome these hurdles along the way.
I have white and red. Red, white for you. White, side. Service over to see. Service.
Well, you can already hear the crowd start to shout for the world #1. She's the most recognizable sports player in China and a hugely popular figure as well. Wherever she goes, the fans follow, and they have arrived in Malmö, ready to cheer her on in her bid to reach the final. She is the champion from the Singapore Smash, but let's have a word first of all on Cheng, the 20-year-old, into the world's top 10 now. We've talked about that victory over her opponent at the US Smash just last month, but she is a 4-time event winner on the WTT feeder series. This is a big step up for Cheng, but have a look at her results. This is how she found herself in this semi-final. Took down Bruna Takahashi in 5, and then Sabine Winter, the surprise package of Germany. She beat her 4-1 yesterday. So Cheng has got a lot of potential here, doesn't she, to cause another upset.
Yeah, Sabine Winter has nobody else quite like her. The adjustments that were made by Cheng, like I was there actually at lunch when they got to interact, and it was really funny because Cheng said Sabina's forehand is really strong and she still needs time to settle into her ante, but she's playing very well. And then I had her tell Sabina, and there was some really funny fake trash talking. But Sun Sha, all focus here. 3-1, 3-1, Hanagoda, Yuen Janan. Hanagoda took her to 5 the time before. Hina Hayata without dropping a game. And Mima Ito, man, it's been a curse for a long time, but I think many would feel that way against Sha. It's just not easy to break someone who's been not only world #1 for over 3 years, but constantly improving.
Well, here's a look then at Sun Sha's victory over Mima Ito of Japan. Now, Ito said she was using this as a real opportunity to learn where she stands in the world rankings, playing the very best in the world. Sun Sha made light work of that one. Here's a look then at Cheng's quarter-final win over the German Sabine Winter, who's much improved. She had her chances, didn't she, Winter?
She had an incredible event to take down Tong Tong just after beating Sun Sha, a player who's got 75% of the fan vote here against somebody who she's 0-1 in WTT history. And that was quite a recent encounter. Before that, they hadn't played in a long, long time. It was 10 years ago. Think about that.
First
Cheng
game,
was 10
Cheng to
years
serve,
old.
level.
Not in the world, years old. Playing a 14-year-old Shasha. That was the only time she's lost to Shasha internationally. And she starts with the serves in this best-of-7 semifinal.
Round 1.
What can we expect from Cheng? Because she's not a flashy player, is she? She doesn't look as though she does anything too outrageous or too special.
She's efficient, she's adaptable, she's very comfortable near and far from the table, but she's a quick learner. Two fortunate points here for Shasha to start, a net in both of them if she raises her hand to acknowledge that fortune. But for a tall player, she's very physical. You can see her getting the legs into the shots there. Very wristy shots. Not short strokes. Well, relatively, but still a lot of wrist.
Did you see?
Nice, fair play all around.
Too long.
Umpire just wants to make sure that both players are in agreement on this, so he doesn't need to step in any other way.
We don't often see rallies of that length, do we, in the women's game?
It depends. As we see a Shasha fan here, one of many. I think here, impressive to me is that Cheng plays a slow spinny ball here. Little side swipe just to make sure she can stay in the point. Look how fast she moves behind the table. Again, for someone at her height, one of the 4 tallest women in the game, it's impressive how quick she is.
Love 4.
Well, 4 unanswered points. Sun Ying-Sha quickly establishing a lead here. Going for her 4th Grand Smash title overall. Whereas Cheng is appearing in just her 3rd Smash. Made her debut at the China Smash event last autumn. But she's coming under constant pressure, isn't she, from Sun Ying-Sha?
And she will. Shasha's going to stay close to the table. She's going to control. She's got a lot of power. I think one thing Cheng said about Sun Ying-Sha at lunch is she's got so much muscle. She's like, we share a changing room. I can tell you, this girl's got a lot of muscle. Wow, this pattern. I was impressed that Shasha even got the second ball to the backhand because it was such a surprising break of pattern. Step around, 1 to the backhand, and then quick the other way. Closer to the table, Cheng is going to be much more effective. It's easier said than done to get there. It's her first point in the 6 so far, coming out of this first towel break.
How does she make sure she can stay close to the table and not get pushed back?
Well, being surprising / specific on the receive. Really depends what comes in, but quick decisions are going to be important.
6.
She's trying here, you can tell. Getting in over the table with the backhand and then trying not to back up too much. Shasha with a big answer to a quite quality receive. The ideas are clever. Again, playing a little bit more shallow on the table. The block one a little soft, less rotation. That was the shallow one, and then she tries to go the other way, but Shasha's having none of it. Don't come into my house. Don't push me around. Take your shoes off at the door.
1-8.
Firmly in control. And do you think she's got that US Smash defeat in her head, Sun Ying-Sha?
I think she probably did for every minute of homework that she put in preparing for now. I think now she's just present and playing.
Nine, 1.
She's rock solid, isn't she? Barely moving in that point, Sun Ying-Sha.
Yeah, she's got control here, handcuffs on the opponent, but 3rd point or so far that's gone Shasha's way with a bit of fortune.
9-2.
Cheng staying stable and steady and consistent in the backhand.
Yeah, a bit of extra pace on this last ball. It was responsive, but here, turns it up, goes wide. Just that little extra flick of the wrist to add some pace.
You could see what the plan was there, couldn't you? From Cheng.
Doesn't miss by much here. She tries to go inside out deep to the backhand. 8 game points now for the world #1 out of the second towel break.
Sun Ying gets it finished off at the first time of asking, wraps up game #1 by 11 points to 2. And he looks like she had to break a sweat in that one. No surprise, though, to see Cheng in the semi-final, given that she made it all the way to the final of the US Smash. She had an absolutely brilliant run in Las Vegas. Let's see what she can produce in game #2. Sun Ying very quickly out of the blocks here, though, wrapping up the first, 11 points to 2. Does Cheng establish herself in this match? This is game #2. The atmosphere inside this Renaissance Arena, it's just fantastic. It's a wonderful setting for this top quality table tennis. This is the first of the women's singles semi-final. Cheng of China looking to make a mark now in this best of 7.
Second game, Sun to serve, lower. Love 1.
A little better start than last time around. The first 5 points, at least for Cheng. The first 5 points of last game to Sha. Last time they played in Vegas, tables were a bit different. A lot of people were adjusting, so there were a lot of upsets here and there that we'll see. Again, she's been adaptable. She's been strong. Oh, wingspan tested, corner to corner. Again, one of the 4 tallest women in the game, so there's no shortage of wingspan, but that's the speed of Sha to get it past.
There's that speed again from both of them, and Cheng gets the better of her in that rally. That's a really confidence-boosting point, isn't it?
She worked hard to make sure that Sha kept her gloves up there, covering the middle time and time again, and when that big forehand came out to play, sometimes when you have an advantage, you just have to make sure you keep it, even if you don't win the point on the next shot, and that's what Cheng did. She just kept drilling away, making sure that she could keep the advantage throughout the point.
2-all.
Swiped at that one a little bit.
I just missed the contact. I think the shot was right. Good setup. Tied her score from game #1. Last time they played, it was a 3-1 victory. Last 2 games quite one-sided for Cheng.
Once again, she sneaks it past the forehand side.
Yeah, watch the turn here. From the middle, just creates a little bit of an opening, and when you go parallel on that, you're in a bit of danger here. So 7 out of every 9 serves, Sha has won 2 out of every 9 for that statistic so far.
All.
Well, Sun Ying is involved later on in the women's doubles final alongside Wang Manyu, taking on Miwa Harimoto and Satsuki Odo of Japan in the final match of the day.
Speaking of Japanese opponents, we saw an epic battle yesterday with Honoka Hashimoto and Wang Manyu, and I was just thinking to myself, this one here, depending on how this game goes, could shape up to be quite a long one. Wow, turns it up after a little bit of heat comes in. Again, the rhythm changed throughout. Cheng Yi's mixing it up wonderfully, and Xia, very physically fit, covers well, takes that one way out in front and plays the wide line. Ooh, double happiness on the double fish. Net to the edge here. I thought the kick serve caused trouble immediately. A fast, long side top spin serve. Nothing can be done on the other side of that. Cheng Yi's just pocketing some IOUs in the first two games.
Six, three. Three, seven.
Constantly looking for ideas out here. And imagination is going to be a very important factor here, as Cheng Yi's clearly got an active imagination, and Sun-Ying Sha's imagined all sorts of different possibilities for how to make sure Vegas does not repeat itself in terms of this head-to-head.
That 3-7.
Xia watches that all the way as it bounces just to make sure she had the perfect read of the spin. Take advantage of any moment. Let no scraps go to waste here. Even a let serve, good time to learn.
But once again, she's just turning the screw now, Sun-Ying Sha. Started off a close second game. Sun-Ying Sha's just found another level, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think everyone's studying her. She's been on another level. Well, she's found it since 3-3. She's won, what, the last 5 points in a row. You saw Cho Yi-ke, her personal coach, Kwai Man, up-and-comer for China.
3-8.
It's crazy to say, considering she's, what, 4 in the world.
Nine, 3.
And a shake of the head from Cheng Yi. She sends that one long. She must feel incredibly frustrated out there at the minute.
She's very smart, she's very calm, she's very focused. She just understands that in this moment it's going to require an incredibly high percentage of some low percentage shots to beat Xia. That's usually the case.
10,
Well, she likes that angle, doesn't she? Going for the forehand.
And this forehand flick, one of the toughest shots in the game, gets up on her feet to play it inside the table as Wang Yidi and Ma Lin watch on. Discuss with He Zhuo Jia there.
Oh, she is just too good. Wraps up the second, 11 points to 3. Another one-sided game. It looked as though Cheng Yi would start to establish herself in game number 2, but the class of Sun-Ying Sha really prevailing. Well, she's got 4 titles to her name across all competitions this year, and in this kind of mood, she looks determined to add a 5th. Long way to go before then, though. This is a best of 7, and this is just the semi-final, but she is fighting for a place in tomorrow's final.
If you're just joining us, no coaches on benches, as both players are representing the same flag here. The women's singles final at the China Smash. Sun-Ying Sha and Wang Manyu with, well, quite a showdown. They've had a good rivalry over the years. Xia, the favorite in their head-to-head, and she took it in 6 games. 2 women in good form at the top of the world and at the top of the podium here in the trophy presentation. And if for some reason you can't watch it live, you'll have the best production you could possibly imagine, although if you've been watching, you can imagine it and you're already looking forward to it. Look at the house today, packed. Lots of big matches to come. One more final,
game,
several more
10 to
semis.
serve, level.
Yeah, we've got some really amazing matches in prospect today. 4 more will follow this one. This is game number 3 in the best of 7. Chun-Yi's not playing badly at all, is she?
Definitely not. Xia been playing just unthinkably good. It's so tricky. We've seen how challenging Chun-Yi can be. Again, she's beaten the world number 1 and world number 2 in back-to-back events. Now, I like what she does here. Chun-Yi has recognized the pattern, so she moves a little bit more central on the table. Right after this backhand starts to shift. So Xia, who's been tempted to go to that wide forehand a lot, as we see Ju Sebing and Tong Tong on the left there. Tong Tong, who beat Xia in the final in Yokohama. Ju Sebing, who warmed up everybody for Sabine Winter.
Love 3.
Sunning Xia goes long, and it's a great start for Chun-Yi. How can she build on this bit of momentum that she's got now?
I like to give credit where it's due, and I think whatever that is, she's the best person to find it. Remember, no coaches out there. I think she'll continue to stay close. She'll continue to change patterns, cover the wide forehand, and play angles where she can.
4 love.
Honestly, from the beginning of this point, I thought she was in trouble, Chun-Yi, just a step behind the table. Now, physicality does determine, in some senses, how your distance from the table, how far back you can stand. It's to your advantage to stay close, but it's all relative.
Oh, going for the big forehand and finds the net instead, and Sunning Xia now has her first point on the board.
Good combination there. Heavy spin to the backhand and then one to the middle. The middle will be the bigger target zone for any player who's taller and has a bigger crossover between their forehand and backhand. Good answer to this heavy spin shot. Xia closes the racket. Think about it. She ended last game winning 8 points in a row from 3-3. She feeds off momentum, and here's some ball as it dives out of the way.
Then 2-4.
Good setup, the touch game. Chun-Yi with a perfect receive right off the bounce to get into the rally quickly, create an opening here. Gets a push from Xia for a third ball. And then it's the fourth ball attack. Nice use of side spin with the top spin. A little change of pace, and the wrist very active here as Chun-Yi secures another point. Look at that. Little bit of Chiquita there, a Chiquitita in the land of ABBA.
Well, she's more than doubled her points tally from the last game, Chun-Yi. This is a lot more positive.
Yeah, very encouraging start here. The level of focus that it takes. Ooh. Well, understandable. You could see who they're cheering for.
And of course, in a best of 7, you can afford a slower start.
Yeah, that's true. Good
Perhaps not
coverage.
ideal.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're playing someone who's so confident, so strong. I guess the idea is having some sort of dent in the opponent's confidence to start. Oh, that backhand. What was the speed? Do you realize how fast you were going? Pull over. In a rally like this, Xia drives it. It's coverage, and she moves in. Oh, man. Right to the line. That's a shot right there that shows incredible capability. Think of the first 2 games. 11-2, 11-3 for Xia.
3.
Well, it could be on the verge of a repeat, but, you know, the reverse.
To make things quite interesting here. Good placement then. Right into the crossover. Out of the second towel break, Cheng has a lot of reasons to be confident. Xia just keeping it cool.
Well, it's game points for Cheng. A remarkable recovery from 2 games down now to put herself in the position of getting a game on the board. Xia goes long, and it's 11 points to 3 for Cheng. She reverses the scoreline from the second game, defeating Xia in game number 3 by 11 points to 3. And there's not many players who can do that.
Well, if it's anyone, Cheng, I mentioned they're boast about everybody who's come her way. Started to question myself, as I often do, but in games 1 and 2, 2 and 3, a really dominant start for Xia, and then 11-3 the other way. Cheng putting us in suspense. A look here at the winning ball placement from Cheng. So one on the edge on the left side, one on the right side, the forehand, but good variation. Again, a lot to the middle, a little bit more to the forehand side of the table. The very last point of the game, she spun it a little bit more shallowly, and I think that's going to be a key ingredient. Force the timing to change, force Xia to move in and out a bit in the rally, keep her uncomfortable. Easier said than done.
I don't want to call you 2 times. So when I call time, we call time, okay?
Bit of a warning for the players who were clearly in no rush to get back up to the table ahead of game number 4. Now that Cheng has taken game number 3, this is a much more open contest.
I don't want to call you 2 times. I like it.
1 love.
It's a tight ship inside the Renaissance Arena.
As it should be. Some ticket holders here excited to see these 2 play. And they sure have so far, but a good start here from Xia after quite a dominant showing the other way against her in game 3.
That was surprising, wasn't it?
Game 3.
And yeah, she's not often on the receiving end of scorelines like that.
Yeah. It is a rare occasion. She doesn't take losing lightly. It's a good opportunity for learning. Brian Afanador said there's winning and there's learning.
Love 3.
And at this level, even when you're winning, you're still learning. You have to. Again, it's like the scraps. Just nothing goes to waste. Meolan Fei cannot let it be taken in vain. Any opportunity. When you're world number 1, it's not maintaining your level. You're constantly improving because everybody else is too, and you have to do it faster.
4 love.
In terms of the IOUs, it's just another one. It feels like there are probably about 3 or 4 in Cheng pocket. We'll see if karma comes around later in the match.
There's the karma.
I mean, she missed the shot. I don't know if I would consider that an IOU cashed in just yet. Jeez, man. Yeah, I'll count it as IOUs being cashed in and TTK, table tennis karma, when Cheng gets nets and edges that win her points. This one, a faint edge, just the nick at the back end. Almost a single fish on the double fish. Only half the ball there. That's all it has to do, touch the playing surface, even if ever so slightly.
Brilliant attacking play from Cheng Yi.
Took a bit of a chance here to step around. Games 1 and 2 many times. This step around cost her because Xia goes right back to the quick forehand, but the pressure a little bit in at the elbow to make Xia shorten up her stroke. Good underspin on the pendulum. Again, deception in the contact. Let's take a look here. Looks like mostly side spin, but more underspin than there appeared, and it comes back net and out.
Oh, it was way too much behind that forehand.
Look one more time at the idea here. A push from baseline, going long, looking to counter. That's a lot of spin coming in. Xia protects herself well with heavy topspin. Just a reminder of how beautiful it looks inside the Renaissance Arena.
But Cheng Yi, though, strikes me as a player who doesn't mind having to come from behind, who doesn't mind getting involved in long matches that go the distance.
I think mentally she's so strong. I think the challenge is something she thrives on. She's constantly engineering responses to players who are very tricky. Subtlety on the service change allows the opening attack a bit of a bait because it's right near that corner of the table. That's what half long is all about. Cause some discomfort, some hesitation.
Then 5-6.
Nothing superstitious there, just drying the hand between towel breaks, between points.
Oh, tied up at 6-all. Cheng Yi coming from behind to level here in game number 4.
This is amazing to me. Xia looks a little bit nervous, and the momentum with Cheng Yi, 6 of the last 8 points. It's rare to see Xia scrambling for answers. But she will, when that's what's called for.
Oh, she's had great success, hasn't she, going for that wide forehand. There's another one.
Yeah, in the first 2 games especially, here it took a long time to get there, but it's side and topspin to send Cheng Yi on the run. Again, the physicality. A player who's quite tall. Might not expect to see her leaping to the wide forehand and countering behind. Oh, goes for broke, throws everything in, and Xia, the wall in this, the Great Wall of China. You can see her from space. Look at the cover there. Racket straight up near the clavicles and then right back the other way to the open table. The heat from below the table. This is a gutsy shot. Cheng Yi took a chance. That's what that face says.
Well, it looked as though Cheng Yi might be starting to get a bit of a look in game number 4, but Sun Ying-Xia's just managed to establish some distance again.
What, 6-6 and then 3 in a row?
That's right.
Top edge of the racket after a surprising long push. Xia testing the racket speed and how long it takes the opponent to get ready. Wow. Again, the way she touched that ball right off the bounce, it was quite surprising, and it sets up 4 game points for a 3-1 lead, the world number 1, Sun-Ying Sha.
Brilliant angle. Saves game point in stunning fashion there.
Adding a bit of spin, side and top there to keep it out of reach down the line, Cheng. You
just see that moment of hesitation from Sun-Ying Sha. Well, she went for this same angle again, but couldn't quite make it. 11 points to 7. Sun-Ying Sha in control and a game away from a place in tomorrow's final. Cheng needs to come up with some answers. She's looking a lot better the more this match wears on. But it's now or never in game number 5 for the world number 10. Well, the next of the women's singles semi-finals, Shi Junyao there looking very zen indeed ahead of her showdown with Wang Manyu, the world number 2. There's a look at her. She's also in action later on as well, alongside Sun-Ying Sha going for the title in the women's doubles. So a busy day for both of those athletes. But that is the second of the semis that will take place after this one. So China guaranteed a winner in the women's singles. Will it be Sun-Ying Sha who's through to the final? She's got 1 game to make it so.
One, love.
Now, what proved to be the difference in the last game in game number 4? Because it was pretty evenly matched, wasn't it, until about point 6 or 7?
It's a good question. Yeah, around 6-6, it felt like Sha was quite comfortable shortening up her strokes, playing efficiently from the middle, lasting a little longer in the rallies, adding side spin when going wide.
1, 2.
It's easy to tense up when pressure builds. I think this is tunnel vision, just being able to quiet the noise that's around you. There's a lot of sound, but it's only noise if it's not helpful sound.
Let. 1, 2.
Just for the record on that let, that was the perfectly half-long receive.
Let. 1, 2.
Keeping it tight.
You said earlier you sensed that she might be a little bit nervous, Sun-Ying Sha.
It looked that way in the last game until about 6-6. I think she definitely changed the mood a bit.
1. Let's call it 1, 2.
So what, 3 in a row now? The let turkey lettuce.
2 all.
Well, gets that one in and gets the point.
A lot of good fan art here. Even had some proper international art in the stadium.
Oh, catching the edge of the table. A shake of the head as well. Frustration for Cheng. Was it that sort of change of direction that upset the rhythm there?
It's a good question. Quick parallel. It seemed to come down off the racket. It only hit her own back edge after the shot, so it clearly didn't get the traction she wanted on the forehand. Good pressure on the step around, full commitment. Cheng had an opening there. Wouldn't have been easy, but we've seen her play shots that are well outside of the category of easy so far in this match. Extra commitment to make sure when you do step around and you leave the table open, you put a lot of pressure on, and it's a timeout on Cheng side. Always interesting to see a timeout on a towel break, but when they're needed, they're needed. And the player often knows this best. Remember, no coaches on the benches. Xu Hui, the coach for Cheng, who's had quite some interesting experiences, memorable ones, especially here in Sweden, in protest of not being able to take off your shirt in celebration.
Now, what does the timeout look like when you're there alone with your thoughts on the bench and no coach in your corner?
Every individual handles any specific situation differently, potentially. For her, I think she'll find a bit of peace in it. Clarity. It's often nice, especially when you're younger, as we see some results here of how well she's done. A finalist at the US Smash quarterfinals, champions Yokohama, Ljubljana semifinals. But I think, again, she's really mentally sharp. She's generally quite calm. She's so focused that she wanted to stay inside this entire week to make sure that daylight didn't distract her. She was afraid that being outside, the wind, the elements and everything, something to that effect. Just thought focus is better. Sleep, eat, practice, enjoy, but stay focused.
It's fascinating. So she hasn't stepped outside in a week.
I don't know the details, but I think she's definitely kept it to a minimum.
Wow.
4-2.
Sunning takes the first point after the timeout, does so with an apology. Real intent behind that forehand, wasn't there?
Yeah, this is going to be up to Cheng. That's why she shakes her head. She leaves a lukewarm ball off the table with enough room for Xia to fully commit to the forehand.
Players are ready.
That was a warning for the crowd.
10-6.
There's a bit of quality in a response. Strong backhand. Remember, this is a must-win for the world number 10. Cheng, after dominating game 3, in response to being dominated the first 2 games, is in a tough position here, but making her come back. Wow, survives. Honestly, I've seen a fair amount of luck. Simongo Z, Kanak Ja, it was pretty balanced, just crucial moments. But here, it's pretty imbalanced. The amount of fortunate shots that have come down for Xia so far. And to recover this, Cheng handles, goes soft after that, but still keeps it in play, plays for position.
Oh, wow.
5.
Perfect setup, long push to the wide forehand, taking a chance. You'd have to imagine this is one of the many things that was on the drawing board when she was sitting on the bench. The angle and the side spin on that. And then the short side of the table to send it behind Xia.
Well, from 2-6 down, she's now closed the gap to the single point. I was going to ask at 6-2 whether that was the moment that Sunning Xia pulled away, but clearly not.
7.
Well-placed serve to get a passive receive from deep on the table. That's what half long is all about. Cause indecision. beautiful response in the speed rally. I was just thinking to myself, when you're playing someone who's so dominant in table tennis and also has a portable home court advantage, it's got to be tough. We're playing for the same team. But it is singles here.
She gets that point finished off with rapid speed. Sun Ying-sha will establish that slight lead.
Yeah, very confident opening backhand here. Wow, not a lot of room on that. It'll just add that much more focus and intention to the serve next time Cheng serves. Good angle on this, wide, using the cross court, the full length of the table. Sha turning it up a notch, and she's 2 points away from moving on to the final.
These are big points under pressure now for the world number 10.
On the move, extended to the wide forehand. It's not the first time we've seen her flying through the court with some athletic counters. The timing, too. Sha took that so early. Heavy spin, slow and spinny. Sha has not called her timeout yet.
Do we sense it's coming?
After that, no. Just something to consider in a moment like this. Surprise, surprise, one more to the backhand corner. Sha goes deep and is 1 point away from going deeper in the draw to play a final. She's taken more titles than anybody in the WTT era.
Rips the top of the net, and that's the first match point that's gone for Sun Ying-sha. Cheng still alive in this one.
The match point saved, one more to go. Sha with a big serve to come here in game 5.
Well, Cheng goes long, and Sun Ying-sha has done it in 5, defeating Cheng, the world number 10, 4 games to 1, turning the tables, avenging that defeat at the US Smash just last month. And she is through to tomorrow's final in the women's singles. Congratulations indeed to Sun Ying-sha. Look at that, a lightning quick start in games 1 and 2, 11-2, 11-3. But Cheng with a great comeback in game number 3 to take that one by 11 points to 3. But then it was Sun Ying-sha, the class, just showing through, and she is through to the final with a very good win over a very, very good player.
Yeah, this was a testing battle. Again, it's a constant puzzle. It's one of the best things about table tennis, and why table tennis players tend to live so long, because your brain is constantly solving puzzles while getting exercise. But the puzzle that is Sun Ying-sha remains the toughest puzzle in the game. So the name itself, celebrated around the world, and ticket holders will be thrilled to see Sha move on to the final. Quite a strong event from the world number 10, Cheng. Well played. But one better this time around, Sun Ying-sha. Now 1-1 with Cheng in the last 10 years. Here's a look at the ball placement from Sun Ying-sha. Okay, pretty good mix. Not too many into the middle there. On the backhand corner, the feet of Cheng. Again, the women's game tends to be more backhand oriented. It's the faster stroke, a little bit more compact and efficient. So 47 points to 32 points after 43 minutes of play. Serve success just shy of 20% better for Sha after 2 dominant games to start. Quite an exciting time for Sha. We'll get to hear from her down with our very own Charmienne.
And we're seeing her at the finals, Sun Ying. Congratulations, Shasha. That was an outstanding performance today. Now, you're facing Cheng again after US Smash. What preparations did you have to make ahead of this match? 恭喜莎莎晋级决赛。那和陈毅在美国大满贯之后再次交手，这次在赛前做了些什么准备呢？
我觉得首先还是立足于拼吧。其实陈毅在近期可能大家也能看到其他的进步，还有他现在整体的实力还是有很大的进步。所以说上次确实自己也是在美国大满贯输掉了比赛，所以面对今天的这场比赛，自己首先我觉得心态放的还是很好，然后包括一上来的这种准备进入比赛的状态，包括一上来的这种发动，我觉得还是做的是比较不错的。
Cheng is definitely a very strong player. She's got a lot of potential and she's made a lot of improvements this season. Going into this match, I knew that even though I lost US Smash, I really wanted to make sure that I was well prepared going into it and I was prepared to fight for every point. So I did feel like overall my preparation for this match was well done. Now, after your opponent came back to win a game, how did you keep calm to secure this victory? 莎莎在被对手追回一局的情况下，自己是如何保持冷静拿下胜利的呢？
我觉得首先在面对今天这场半决赛的准备方面，还是做好了这种非常困难的准备，不管是领先落后，其实我觉得都很正常。其实一上来可能在前2局自己相对来说打的还是比较流畅，也很顺利。但当然第3局其实陈毅也有了一些改变。但我觉得其实比赛我觉得也很快，所以说自己在2比1的时候也在及时的去调整节奏，包括去找回自己这种最好的一些感觉吧。
I went into this match well prepared and definitely prepared for difficult situations. For the first 2 sets, I felt like I actually was in my flow. And I did meet some difficulties in the 3rd set, especially when Cheng changed up her strategy. But overall, I think I managed to adjust very quickly and get back into it to take home the win. Thank you so much, Shasha. 再次恭喜你，莎莎。
Well done indeed to Sun Ying. We look forward to seeing her in tomorrow's final. But who will she be facing? Will it be Shi Yao of China, the number 15 seed? Or will it be the 2nd seed, Wang Wenyu? It'll be fascinating to see who comes out of that other women's singles semi. It is Shasha who is safely through. And we'll see her tomorrow. Actually, we'll see her before then because she's in women's doubles action. The final taking place later on today. She's partnering Wang Wenyu and they are taking on Miwa Harimoto and Satsuki Odo. So that is one to look forward to, certainly.
Suéltala con toda tu bellaquera, da la vuelta y bájala, ese trasero mata. Comienza el perreo de la raza, sácatela y baila, el tema guasa guasa. Ese burita pegadita, no eres rookie, tú te la quitas. Una chica puti y bien linda, retumbando sin perder el compa. Baby trata, traca, ta, ta, ta. Se sale una teta y otra más. Saca, sácatela. Empezó el revolú y vamos allá. Suéltala con toda tu bellaquera. Da la vuelta, jala ese trasero mata. Comienza el perreo de la raza. Sácatela y baila. El tema guasa, guasa. Ziquiza, wow.
Ey, mami, baby, muévelo. Dame esa cosita, baby, trégalo. Le gusta reggaetón y le gusta un poco reggae. Le gusta el gordito porque tiene poco pegue, baby, dame más. Ya sé que a ti te gusta por detrás. Ese color mata, la como cenar. Hacemos una movie, lo que quieras, tú la dueñas.
Suéltala con toda tu bellaquera. Da la vuelta y bájala, ese trasero mata. Comienza el perreo de la raza. Sácatela y baila, el tema guasa guasa. Ziquiza, wow.